All right, there we go. Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Bryan Frye. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to be with Wichita Chamber President Gary Plummer. Good afternoon, Gary.
Good afternoon, Councilman. Thanks for the invitation to join you.
Good to see you. This is unusual times and it calls for unusual technology. So today we're going to be talking about helping small business in our community. And we're going to have the opportunity to ask questions in the comments, and we'll try to answer them at the end. So start preparing your questions now. And again, talking about technology, it's very interesting how we're doing this. I know the Chamber's been using Zoom a lot lately. Is that right, Gary?
That's correct. Yeah, we're getting pretty proficient at it, actually.
Yeah, and again, all the technology, whether it's Microsoft Teams or Skype or Zoom, everyone's figuring out this new normal and making the best way to communicate with our residents and your chamber members, right?
No question about that. We've got 20 staff people who have been working remotely now for almost 3 weeks. And so we've learned to adapt to the new normal.
Yeah, and we're making the best use of technology, and thank you again for joining us today. So during this time, we're all experiencing all kinds of different challenges and no more than in our small businesses. And you guys are directly working hand in hand with our small business community. Maybe you can tell us about some of the things you're doing.
Well, certainly the biggest step we took was the creation of a new web platform, which folks can find at wichitachamber.org/COVID-19. And I actually have to give Bob Layton, the city manager, credit for giving us the motivation to do that. He reached out to us and said, hey, the city really wants to find a partner in the business community so that we can do the best possible job that we can to get information that's needed by our small business community primarily. And we took Bob's suggestion. My team of Monica Poe and Angie Prather went to work that same weekend and put something together. We've cooperated with your communications team to try to fine tune the presentation of that site. And we think there's a lot of great information there for companies and individuals, actually.
Yeah, that website is quite the resource. There's quite a bit there. And again, that is wichitachamber.org/COVID-19. And you've put an amazing amount of resources and effort into that. And hopefully people are using it.
Well, I think we've seen a tremendous amount of use. And we also had a great response to a Facebook Live program like this about 10 days ago with Wayne Bell from SBA. A lot of the information you'll find on that site is coming from the SBA and from some other great local sources as well. We have some accounting firms and legal firms that are putting out a tremendous amount of information, and we're passing that along. Hopefully it gets in the hands of the people who need that information.
Yeah, I tuned in on a webinar that you all did with Congressman Estes. It was Andrew Weens, Karma Mason, and Jason Watkins, and it was a good hour worth of fantastic information and resources that you provided, and I want to thank you for that. That one was very well done. So.
Yeah, thank you very much. We heard great feedback on that.
So again, focusing on small Wichita businesses, if I'm one of those, what is something that I can do to stay afloat if I'm not deemed one of those essential businesses as defined in the stay-at-home order?
Well, there are a couple of programs that are out there. The first one that came out was a $10 billion program called the Economic Injury Disaster Loans. And those loans that information can be found on the website we've already referenced, but those loans can be applied for directly through a national center that the SBA has up and running that's doing a great job of responding in short order to small business applications. That was the first program that rolled out, and it's still active. A new program, which we expect to see guidelines on probably before the end of this week, it was the Paycheck Protection Program. That was part of the CARES Act. And as you know, there was about $350 billion of funding made available there. The key point of contact for the Paycheck Protection Program is a local lender. So if a small business has a banking relationship, they should reach out to their local lender. I would say the first of the week. That information will probably be in the bank's possession, and you can reach out to your existing lender. And if they're not an SBA approved lender, I'm sure they can connect you with another bank where you can get assistance in filling out that application in very short order.
Wow, thank you. One of the areas that's been getting hit extremely hard is our restaurants and bars and so forth. What, if I'm an employee at one of those, what's available to me? What's going on there? I've heard a little bit about a new effort, and I think it's pretty exciting.
Well, a new effort that I'm aware of, and there's probably more than one, is the ICT Bar Rescue, which I'm sure folks on the line can find on the internet. As you know, Governor Kelly came out with some funding early on called the Hire program, and that
Right.
was all about the hospitality industry. Unfortunately, that funding was all committed
Yeah.
within probably the first few days that that program was out there. And so that program has gone away unless the legislature and the governor come back with additional funding. But certainly every one of these small business programs, the injury disaster program, the payroll protection program, are eligible for restaurants, bars, hotels, and every other kind of business, and a lot of nonprofits as well.
It's true. And speaking of nonprofits, Wichita is great for helping our nonprofits and volunteering and donating services. We've seen this during tornadoes and severe weather season. After 9/11, people came out in droves to help. United Way is doing some amazing things with their 211 program, and it's really a one-stop shop for people looking for services or to even volunteer and donate. Um, I think it's a fantastic resource. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm a past board member of United Way, so I have a great respect for Patrick Hanrahan and his entire team and the work they do, particularly in tough times like what we're experiencing right now. The 211 program I know is getting thousands of calls every day, particularly between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And the volume is just unbelievable. But they are helping connect people to the resources they need. And in most cases, those resources are to help a family that's struggling to get some temporary assistance. And I can't commend United Way enough for what they're doing there. They were prepared for some pretty hard work when the 737 MAX crisis hit Wichita
Right.
a couple of months ago, and they've been able to convert the preparation that they went into for that crisis very efficiently for this COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, Wichita's having this double whammy between the 737 MAX and now COVID. And so we're a little bit better prepared. But again, because we've seen natural disasters and tornadoes and so forth, the spirit of this community has always shown that people are ready to jump in and help and contribute in so many different ways. So it's really good to see. And again, you're right. Patrick Hanrahan has done an amazing job with United Way and has always been ready to go when needed. So it's good to see. So again, we want to keep this short and tight today. We want to be sure we had opportunity for any questions. Megan, have we seen anything yet come through?
We do have a couple questions on unemployment. We talked about some of those resources. Would you mind going over some of the unemployment resources again?
Yeah, and I think Gary would be best to speak on this because you guys have kind of put that all together on the website.
Yes, again, go back to wichitachamber.org/COVID-19. And there's information there not only for employers, but a lot of information for employees, including that, how to apply for unemployment insurance. And I happened to be on the call this week with the Deputy Director of the Department of Labor. And he told me something in response to a question that I had received that same day from one of our members. And that was, I've already helped my employees apply at the state level at the Department of Labor online to get their state benefits. How do I apply for the federal benefits? And the answer to that was the state will automatically submit
Mhm.
every claimant that they've received already for state benefits will be sent by them to the federal Department of Labor, and so those filings will happen automatically. And of course, the benefits are much greater when that employee can take advantage of both the state and the federal assistance.
Yeah, and I know we're seeing unprecedented number of filings, and people are making their request and getting in there, and it's time consuming. It's difficult to ramp up to this need very fast, and so I know people are experiencing delays and trying to get their answers. You got to stay after it. They're working as hard as they can, as fast as they can. Online is still the best way to do it, from what I understand, especially if they are rolling up it to the federal level. That makes a lot of sense. Megan,
Yeah,
any?
and I know the Department of Labor has been working to upgrade their systems so they can handle more volume as well.
Yeah, yeah. Megan, any other questions? Okay, so we don't have any other questions right now. Gary, I want to thank you for your time today. This is truly an unprecedented situation that I don't think anyone ever thought we'd experience in our lifetimes. Everyone's working very hard to limit the impact and do what's necessary to keep people safe, staying at home, and recognizing the challenge we have. For instance, one thing I'm doing on my District 5 Facebook page is every day I'm recognizing the people, organizations, and businesses who deserve our appreciation and thanks because they're struggling, they're stepping up, they're serving our community, and I would just want to do my little bit to recognize those folks. Again, it's something that we're all struggling with. We're all figuring it out as we go. I've heard it said, it's hard to make, there are no good choices, just good decisions at this point, and we're trying to make the best decisions we can. Kudos to the Wichita Regional Chamber for doing what you're all doing to keep the small businesses informed and our area manufacturers and retail and restaurants. We're going to get through this, and you guys have done an amazing job with that resource page and these webinars, and again, I can't thank you enough.
Well, it's our pleasure. I want to thank you, Councilman, and special thank you to all the first responders and the folks working in local hospitals because they're really on the front line. We appreciate what they're doing.
Yes, that's true. That's a good attaboy there. So again, we're going to sign off. As always, you can reach myself or any of the members of the council or the mayor via email or our webpage at wichita.gov. We all have Facebook pages as well. And then again, last time I'm going to plug the webpage that the chamber has done, and that again is wichitachamber.org/COVID-19. Again, thank you all for joining us.